Hey, what is up there, guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of The Evolve. How you guys doing on today? Listen, we need to get right into it. Enough is enough. Okay, so let's talk about this. Today we are talking about Dina Rae. She have collaborated many of times with Eminem on, she was on the song Come On Everybody, the drug ballad, and the famous Superman song. And also she did some things with D12. I think it was Pimp Like Me, and some other songs. So she has collaborated and have done quite a bit with Eminem. I mean, here these two in concert and a couple other things. But that's all good. But today's video, we're here because she had something to say about Eminem. Not so much, it's not hate or anything, but she asking for Eminem to start to play a role to get the ball rolling. Basically, to sum up everything before we really get into what she said and play her videos and listen, to sum it all up, she put up a post and congratulating Eminem on all the streams, that he has received, on these platforms like YouTube and Spotify and Apple. But the songs that she was on too, she's looking at all of those streams and she's like, I know how much royalties I'm getting per month and it does not match what I'm seeing. And it's not Eminem's fault, but I need Eminem to, threaten to remove his music until they start paying us reasonably or something like that. We need someone to get the ball rolling, and because Eminem is such a big time creator with regards to royalties and streams, and he can have an impact. That's the basis of kind of what she was saying. So today I want to really discuss and really go into, the relationship between the streaming services and the labels. I want to go and I want to talk about, I guess what I want to talk about is it Spotify's fault? Can Eminem actually save the day by taking his music? Let's talk about the art of enslaving an artist. Superman got nothing on me. Why is the artist getting so little from so many streams, millions and millions and some billions? Why? Not even a cent, not even a half a cent. Why is this happening? Well, here's the thing. You see, back in the 80s were probably like the glory days when it comes to financial between the artist and the label, and the contracts were good. And I mean, everyone, the record label and the artist, they were receiving all the money. The percentage was because 85% of their sales and incomes and music was being consumed through CDs. 85%. So that's 85% of the revenue. So everybody was living it up. To everybody that be living it up, say, I know y'all hate on Ja. I'm sorry. But listen. So 80s were the glory days. But then we had Napster and then Spotify and all of these other streaming services. They start to take off. Mainly, like I said, Napster was the starting focal point when it comes to the 2000s. So now all of a sudden, when it used to be that 85% of music was being consumed, thus revenue through CDs and purchasing. Now 75% of the music industry was either being bought, downloaded, played, pirated through online services, streaming services like Napster. So, the record label, they were hurting. the record labels, they were hurting. So the record labels, they were hurting, and now they had a choice. They had a choice, and they had to find a way on how can we get money off of those streaming sales now that we're not getting CDs. Our music is being played. Now we need to get in bed with the streaming services. The evolution of a new type of music contract started since we didn't have CDs. So in the 2000s, they created these contracts where they would own the rights and the masters. You see, which was smart for the labels, because now that they own the rights and the masters, because these streaming services like Spotify and Apple, they don't pay the artists per se, they pay the rights holder. So whoever owns the rights, the masters, and all of that, that's who gets paid. And then once Spotify pays the rights owner, which is the label, then the label can decide how much from that payment that they got from them that they can give you. So yeah, 2000s was the evolution of a new type of contract. They created these contracts where that they can own the rights and the master. So now anytime your music get played on a commercial, in a concert, at a stadium, at a game, anywhere, they will get the profit, and then they can distribute to the artist. Remember that the artist is always the last to get paid. But how does this relate back to Dina Rae and just the small portion that she's getting, that she said is just not adding up? I'm receiving these checks. Why am I getting so little? Superman got nothing on me. See, here's the thing. Yes, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, let's bring up this chart. You see this? Now, as you can see, this shows all the streaming services. And if you look at the middle, this shows how much you are getting per stream. Just a cent. Just a half of a cent. Just a piece of a cent. And as you can see for Spotify, you need 314 streams to equal $1. So this is the basic chart for 2022. You need at least 314 streams. Every 314 streams, you're getting about $1. So let's go back to Dina Rae. Let's go back to the chart that she posted up on her Instagram. Look at Superman. Now let's take the song Superman because she was on that. So most likely this is one of the songs that she is getting paid royalties per month. So let's try to add up really quick, and I want you all to see just how much the record label, just how much the streaming service and the artist is making based off of the numbers and the contracts that they make. Congratulations! Superman made 200 and we'll round it off to 65 million views. We all millionaire. Oh boy. All right, 265 million streams. Now we know that according to Spotify and according to our chart, we need at least every 314 views equals $1. So for us to understand just how much the artist will get off of those 265 million streams, we need to take 265 and we need to divide it by 314, and that should give us our cost. So once we divide it by 314, basically saying how many times this 314 goes into 265. And it goes into it about $843,000. We'll round it to $844,000 off of one song. Money. Okay, so $845,000 that will go to the rights holder. Rights. Right. Yeah, right. Okay, so it doesn't go to the artist. So it goes to the label, 840. Now, we know that they got that check. So what does the artist get paid? Almost $900K for one song. But remember, that's based off of the small cents. That's not even what Spotify got off of that one song in ads. They're just giving, that's just based off this cent. But just to let you guys see, Spotify would be getting at least 3 to 4 times more than that if you're getting that. Now, you got to understand, The reason why these percentage is so low, I'm still jumping ahead of myself. Why are the cents so low? I'm going to tell you why. Because, you see, back in the 2000s, I got to go back. You see, back in the 2000s, a deal was made, not just with the artist. You see, back in the 2000s, y'all remember that evolution of the New Deal that I was talking about, where they decided, hey, let's take the masters, let's take all of them so that we can get paid now. But also another deal was starting to be made. You see, the labels, they decided to give what they call ownership equity to some of these streaming services. Basically, they were saying, oh, shoot, man, we used to get money off the CDs, but now they're streaming services. Now they're getting all the money. So they come knocking at the streaming service door. Hey, you know, I know you get monthly membership and you're using our music and stuff. We're willing to give you some equity in Spotify if you give us a percentage each month off of subscriptions and, you know, off of all that. So yes, the streaming services, they own equity in most of the top labels. But the streaming service was like, okay, we'll do that, but on one condition. The record label's like, what? You making us rich, y'all making all this money, y'all giving us millions? We'll do anything. So this is what the streaming services they asked for in return. You gotta allow us to give you guys, to give your artists very little off of each time their song is played. So when they see that small percentage, 0.0003 point, y'all can't argue and try to fight for your artists. Allow us just to give that small percentage payout. The record label is like, yeah, cool, we're making our money. We don't care about the artists as long as we get our money. So yes, they sold a little part of their company and sold their artists out, but in return, the label received their millions and billions that they were getting back in the glory days. In return, they sold the artists out. Like I said, the artist is the last to get paid. Superman got nothing on me. Now, let's get back to Dina Rae. $844,000 Spotify paid out for that song based off of the streams and based off of the chart. So what does the artist get paid? You see, the rights holder got that $844,000, but now it goes back to your contract that you made with the artist. Because you as the artist may be coming back and the label's like, yeah, we just got $844,000 off of that. And then the artist's like, yes, money, money, money. This money's adding up, all these streams. But then the label's like, excuse me, but your contract, we take 90% and you get 10% off of all earnings. See, yes, most of the contracts back in the 2000s, the record label is getting 90% of, it's usually a 90% and you get about 10%. Now you may be wondering, why would anyone do these contracts? Well, you gotta think, you're starting off labels, you're just starting off in labels and all of this, it sounds good. And also, then they're waiving what they call an album advance, about $500K to about $500K in front of your face, and you're like, oh, I'll take it. That's good as cash. But not knowing that $500K, that album advance, it's not even it's not free cash for you. It's basically a loan. You've got to pay that back. And you don't start, these artists in these contracts, they don't see any of that Spotify money until, you know, that loan is paid off. They're paying off that loan after every sale. So from that $844K, they get 10% of that, which is about $84,000. Now, you may be like, all right, from $800 to $84,000 is almost $100K. That's cool. I'll take it. And then the label's like, I'm sorry, but remember in your contract, and this is where Dina comes in. See, artist Eminem, 84,000, but then the label from your 84,000, instead of taking it from the 844 and paying all of the publishers and the features, no, their contract gets even more enslavement and more one-sided, because they're like, no, from your 84K, you got to pay the features. So now we got to take from your percentage. So now a feature percentage. Now, I really don't know, but I would think between 2 to 3%. I can't see any record label on higher than that, but I could be wrong. But let's just say, we'll say 4%. So 4% is your feature loyalties from your 84K that you just made. So 4% of 84K is like $3,300, and that would be what like Dina Rae would be seeing per month for that song that is reaching almost 300 million views. She see 300K, and she see $3,000 a month for that song off of what she's seeing. So Dina Rae, she's like, man, I'm only seeing between $3,000 to $5,000 a month for a song that I'm looking that has almost 300 million views. This is not adding up. But as you can see, this is the math, and it's the contract. So it goes back to my question. And Dina Rae's post, when she posted up this and she stated, this stuff is not adding up. Now I hear what Dina is saying, and she is 100% right in saying that someone or something needs to change. Something needs to stand up, because this is almost to the point of fraud and theft, and it's just not right. The artists, they are bringing the audience, they are doing all the work, but they are the ones that not seeing any of the money. $3,000. I mean, from $844,000 made off of that song, off of the pennies, that's just a small portion, to $3,000 is what she's seeing. The artists, everyone is getting paid but the artists in these contracts and these scenarios. Dina Rae say, hey, that's why we need Eminem. You need to go to Spotify, threaten to pull your music until they start to change deals. And the fact is that I gotta say, diverting our attention on the streaming service is kind of misdirected, because it do start with the labels. The labels had decided to sell out their artists to make sure themselves. The label, they decided long ago that they were going to sell out and own and enslave their artists, and in return, they would get rich. They decided that we're not here for the artists, we're in the business of making money at the artist's expense. Spotify and these streaming services are just like, okay, if change is going to happen, it does start with the labels. These labels, they must demand. These labels, they must crack down and demand something different and something new and more for their artists. This contract, it needs to be revisited. This relationship, it needs to be revisited. Because one thing that Dina said that was true, it's different times than what it was in 2000s. But now, you know what? It's sad because you know what? The label, any other time they revisit and they have changed contracts, like they did from the 80s. And then in 2000s, they changed it again. And then after COVID, they changed it again. They introduced the 360 deal. Now, even though you're in your home and you're doing live streams and you're selling merch, these deals, we get all revenue. We get all revenue, indirect and direct, from the artists. Whatever you do, we get a sum in it. Your podcast, your merch, your Instagram live stream, 360. See, they're willing to change the deal and revisit when it comes to them making money. But now these labels need to go back to these streaming services. I like to know what you all think. What do you all think about what Dina Rae? Do she deserve more? What do you all think about the record labels and the streaming services? Is there some sort of hope? Can Eminem have an impact in this industry and help lead the way for more money for the artists by pulling out? I'd like to know everything you have, your thoughts in the comments. I really want to know your thoughts in the comments and what you think about this whole situation. Are you an independent artist? Maybe you can talk a little bit more about kind of your experience. Anyway, I'm that one YouTuber. I read every single comment, guys. Yes, and sometimes it'd be hundreds and thousands, but I'm your guy. If you are new to the channel, I want to say be sure to subscribe. I thank you for watching. Be sure to hit it with a like. It doesn't cost anything. Speaking of money, no percentage. Just hit it with a like, and then the algorithm will do its thing for me. I will see y'all in the very next video. As always, KIP, keep it positive.